Hey gang, John here again. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to have on this one. Basically what it amounts to is I do about an hour drive to work, hour drive home from work. It gives me a lot of time to think. One of the things that's been on my head here over the last week or so is Erik's posting on excuses and such. At my age, trust me, I know them all. I've used the bulk of them. You probably reach a point in time that, no more excuses. As an example here, a couple of years ago, I've got this affliction with, it's called basal thumb arthritis. Debilitating, just horrible. Basically the cartilage between the very first joints on your thumb and the wrist gets destroyed and becomes bone on bone. A year ago last January, I had my left hand done, had surgery. Up until that point in time, boy, it was painful. I couldn't hardly use it. Muscles obviously went to hell. This last July 5th, as a matter of fact, I had my right hand done. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's scar yet from the surgery right there, and then there's another little scar right there. They took some tendon out of there to basically make a new joint, is what it amounts to. At any rate, both hands at some point over the last couple of years were just about worthless. I mean, this whole Homo sapien thing with the opposable thumbs and all that, it kind of makes it tough. Lost a lot of muscle, mainly from not being able to use them properly. The last surgery, like I said, July 5th, typically this surgery, you have it done as an outpatient. It's 10 days in the surgery wrap, 2 weeks in a hard cast, another 2 weeks in a hard cast, and approximately 10 days to 2 weeks in a removable plastic type splint thing. I learned from this hand a lot of things. And number one is that I babied it for far too long. Secondly, the way they casted it the first time, my thumb was sticking way out like this. That by the time all the casts finally came off, it was atrophied so bad. It was even more painful than the original infliction was. This time around, I kind of held my thumb like this, barely enough room for them to get the cast material through. It was kind of cool. At any rate, July 5th was the surgery. 10 days in surgery wrap, 2 weeks in a hard cast. It was good enough at that point in time that I did not have to go to a second hard cast. They put me in the plastic splint. Again, 10 days to 2 weeks. I had it on for just probably a little bit over 2.5 hours. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't stand it. I needed to use my hand. Now, this isn't for everybody, but for me it worked. Okay, I worked through the pain. I did as much PT on it as I could. So much so that just a bit over a month later, like 5 weeks later, is when I started on my whole fitness routine. I didn't use it as an excuse as I had in the past. Something to think about, guys. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. Each to himself, his own. I mean, you know your body's better than anybody else. I guess I'm one of these guys that likes to push it. And I did it with one hand, and because of that, I lagged way behind. So then I started working out and stuff, and things started progressing. Lo and behold, I started getting this pain right in through here, from my elbow onto the top part of my arm. In checking with Steve at Body Performance, and in checking with a buddy of mine who's a retired physical therapist, there's some, sorry about that, somebody's trying to get my attention. At any rate, I had both of them tell me that probably laying off any exercise and stuff might be the best thing. Although Steve did mention that, chances are if I want to keep working out, I'm going to do it regardless. So instead of using that as an excuse to not work out, again, this isn't for everybody, but what worked for me was two things. One is it's actually a support, which goes on kind of like, I don't know, kind of like this, and then you wrap it, and you go ahead and work out. That's the one thing. The second thing is vitamin I. Yeah, vitamin I. Ibuprofen, if you can stomach it. Fortunately, I can't. I tell you, this wrap, this support, immediate relief. I go into the weight room and I kick ass. Surprisingly, I've been increasing weights, and my arm doesn't feel any worse the next day than it did before I started. So, some of these things can help. Again, everyone is got their own thing. You know your own bodies. Probably the best advice is to check with your physician and such. However, there are things that a guy might try on his own just to see how bad it really is. I can't afford to stop doing this, so that's where I'm at. The point being is that I guess we got to take some of these excuses and really dissect them and see, what we can do to overcome them. A lot of guys have said, gee, something bad happens, well, go and hit the bags, go and work out, do stuff like this. In my case, it's been just physical limitations that I'm trying to overcome. I've got a bum knee, it's hard on elliptical. I'm looking into alternatives so that I can do my cardio. Basically, gang, there's always going to be excuses. Take it from a veteran. Been around the block a lot of times. And it really does feel a whole lot better when you overcome the problems and excuses and go do what needs to get done. That's it for now. We'll catch you guys later.